Have you ever found yourself standing in the shower or staring out the window during your daily commute and suddenly you are somewhere else entirely? You are having a conversation that never actually happened. You are finally winning an argument from 3 years ago. You are perfectly delivering a speech you will never give or living a life that simply does not exist. And then, when you snap back to the present moment, there is this strange, lingering feeling. It is half relief and half disappointment, because for just a few minutes, that fake scenario felt much more real than your actual life.
Welcome back to the Human Code. Today, we're decoding a deeply universal but rarely understood psychological habit, why we construct fake scenarios in our minds, and what it reveals about our inner wiring. Let us get one thing straight right away. You are not just daydreaming. Not in the casual, whimsical way that people usually think of it. You are constructing entire alternate realities in your mind. These scenarios are highly detailed, deeply emotional, and completely immersive. You imagine intense confrontations with people who have wronged you. You visualize success scenarios where everyone around you finally recognizes your true worth. You create romantic moments with someone you barely know, or you mentally prepare for catastrophic disasters that will probably never arrive. And here is the most important thing you need to understand. These scenarios are not random. They are not simply the result of boredom, and they are not just your creativity running wild. They are your brain actively trying to solve something that it cannot currently solve in the real world. So let me say this first. You are not broken. You are not wasting your life in a fantasy world, and you are not avoiding reality because you are weak. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do over thousands of years. It is simulating, it is testing, it is preparing. It is trying to give you a sense of control in a world that often feels entirely uncontrollable. Let us dive deeper into the actual mechanism behind this. There is a specific network in your brain called the default mode network. This network activates when you are not actively focused on the outside world, when your mind is at rest and you are just thinking. But for some people, this network is hyperactive. It does not just wander aimlessly, it builds. It creates elaborate simulations of what could be, what should be, or what might have been. In psychology, this is known as counterfactual thinking. Your brain is running alternate versions of reality not to torture you, but to learn from them. Think of your brain as a highly advanced prediction machine. It is constantly asking, what happens next? How do I respond? What could possibly go wrong? When you imagine these fake scenarios, you are mentally rehearsing. You are running simulations in the exact same way a pilot practices in a flight simulator. You are testing your emotional responses, building your confidence, and preparing for the unexpected. However, here is where it gets complicated and sometimes dangerous. Sometimes the simulation becomes a substitute for reality. You rehearse a difficult conversation so many times in your head that you never actually have it in real life. You imagine your future success so vividly that doing the actual hard work feels less urgent. You replay a past hurt so often that you trap yourself in that pain. The mental tool that was originally meant to prepare you starts to imprison you. There is another, much deeper reason you do this, and it is tied to one fundamental human desire: control. In your real life, you cannot control how other people respond to you. You cannot accurately predict outcomes, and you certainly cannot rewind time to redo a mistake. But in your mind, you are the director, the writer, and the lead actor. You get to say the exact perfect thing. You get to be completely understood. You get to win. Your brain absolutely craves that feeling of agency, especially if you have spent a significant portion of your life feeling powerless, misunderstood, or overlooked. These fake scenarios become a safe sanctuary where you finally have agency and where you finally matter. That is not pathological. That is deeply human. But there is a heavy cost. When you spend too much time living in these mental scenarios, you slowly start to lose touch with what is real. You begin to mistake the emotions you feel inside the simulation for the emotions of actual lived experience. You might actually find yourself getting angry at real people for things they only did in your head. You feel profound disappointment when real life fails to perfectly match the script you wrote in your mind. Slowly, the gap between your inner world and the outer world widens. You become more comfortable in the predictable safety of your scenarios than in reality, because reality is inherently messy, unpredictable, and unscripted. And your brain, despite all of its incredible power, deeply struggles with uncertainty. So, how do you work with this natural mechanism instead of fighting against it? Not by aggressively trying to stop it, and certainly not by shaming yourself for doing it, but by understanding what these scenarios are genuinely trying to give you. First, externalize the scenario. When you catch yourself caught in a mental loop, write it down. You do not need to overanalyze it, but you need to get it out of your head. Your brain is imagining scenarios because it is trying to process an unresolved emotion. Let it process. Give it physical form. Give it words. In psychology, this is called expressive writing, and it works because it signals to your brain that the loop is complete. Once it is on paper, your mind can finally stop replaying it internally. Second, ask yourself a critical question. Is this scenario preparing me or is it protecting me? There is a massive difference. Preparing means you are mentally rehearsing something you actually plan to execute in real life. Protecting means you are hiding in a fantasy to avoid the discomfort of reality. Learn to recognize which mode you are operating in. Third, set a strict time limit. You do not have to completely eliminate your fake scenarios, but you must contain them. Give yourself 10 minutes to fully immerse in the thought, and then intentionally return to the present. This trains your brain that these scenarios are a temporary tool, not a permanent residence. Finally, ground yourself in the present moment. When you notice you have drifted away, gently pull yourself back. Feel your feet resting on the floor. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Look at a physical object in front of you. This simple act activates your sensory cortex and pulls power away from the default mode network. It reminds your brain, this right here is real. This moment, this body, this life. Your mind is like a river, and these scenarios are the current. You cannot stop the river, but you can absolutely choose not to be swept away by it. You can sit on the bank, acknowledge the water moving past, and then stand up to walk your own path. Your real life is waiting for you. Yes, it is messy, uncertain, and unscripted, but it is real, and ultimately, that is enough. Thank you for exploring the human mind with me. Until next time, keep decoding your reality.